on the bench. It's a really good sign that you like talking to each other. I almost feel guilty intervening because you're having such good talks. So we're at Underverket, and Underverket is quite a different co-working space. I think maybe you got the feel of that when you came here. Maybe some of you have been here before. My gorgeous brother with the long hair in the back is the guy who started it. He hates attention. Don't look at him. He's gonna turn around and run. Oh my God. He's like, damn it, you did it. And I'm so proud of him because this is such an amazing space. And last year I got the chance to become part owner. So this is me. I'm Mira Thimmayya. I am part owner here, but I also run Brand Fixers, which is my company. And I work with branding, a little bit for companies, but mostly nowadays for people. Personal branding is my big passion in life. And content is a part of that. I think everyone here is here today, I guess, because you work with content in some way, or you need to, or you feel like you should, or you're scared of it, or you hate it, or you love it. I don't know. You tell me later. I'd love to find out. And so we're going to talk about content. And we're going to do this again 8th of November, and then we're going to do personal branding. So that'll be fun. So today we are going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, why I think that we are marketing snobs. Why we connect with the content that we do connect with, what we're actually selling, and what I think maybe we should stop doing or start doing. Basically, to set the frame. Oh, someone's in the back. Hello. I hope you can see in here. Amazing. So, I mean, we've been telling stories since we were sitting around the fireplace. And the first commercial messages were actually found on cave walls 2,000 years ago. So I don't know, maybe we've just always had the need to communicate, of course, and also maybe to, get our message out there somehow. And in this digital world today where some people are better at it and some people are not. And we're here to get really, really good at it. Because we all know that when we scroll and we're disturbed all the time, it's not so much fun. But when we actually do find something that speaks to us, it's not disturbing. It doesn't feel like a commercial. It's just good, right? Hi, Armando. Not singling you out, just kidding. I think marketing has gone a little bit from the Mad Men era, billboards, newspapers, and everything, to where we are today. And maybe in 1970, we had about 500 impressions a day. Today, we have well about 5,000. I think probably new numbers would say much higher. And so it isn't weird that we feel a little bit fatigued. We're a bit tired of all this content all the time, right? I think we're so tired that it kind of makes us marketing snobs in the way that nowadays we actually will pay to not see marketing. We will pay for premium. We will pay to not see content, which makes life really hard for us who work with content. Like, they will pay to not see our work. How weird is that? And still we get it because we're also the consumers and we don't want all of this stuff. So premium is a good thing too. So my first rule, and today we're going to go through 6 quick rules for content that really makes an impact, makes a difference, and that will lead to something for you, is do not disturb. Because in our little smartphones, and I love that you're holding them and taking pictures and taking notes, please do that. So do not disturb, because I feel like in our little phone every day, that's our personal kind of sphere. Like if we could, we would really like to curate that to be what we want. So the people who make content really have to think about not disturbing. And I love this quote: we need to stop interrupting what people are interested in and be what people are interested in. That is the goal with the content that we create. So I also think that we have to step away from just functional marketing and go into emotional marketing. And I'll give you a really clear example of what I think that is. And also I want to say there is a place for functional marketing and there is a place for emotional marketing, and they really go together. So functional marketing really is McDonald's, burger, 10 kroner. At least when I was small, they were 10 kroners. I don't know if that's true anymore. Max knows because he loves McDonald's. Yes, attention. I think this is a quick message, and we need to make this type of marketing also, of course. But there's a different layer where we speak to different needs, And that is something we're going to go through in the other content workshops today, the ones of you who want to do that. And that is emotional content. So I'm going to show you a little movie. How does this make you feel? If you're a parent, I think you get it. In this case, McDonald's isn't selling fast food. They're selling comfort to tired parents who really want their children to sleep, right? And that's emotional, so we connect on another level. It's not just fast food, right? And I really think that it's the emotional connection that we have with a brand, or even a personal brand, that is going to determine what brands really make it. Because there is so much noise out there right now, and there will only be more. So we have to find our voice, and we have to be able to connect. Otherwise, we will not survive. There's a difference looking at Spotify from the beginning. When they started, they went from the world's best engineered music streaming service, which is even hard to say, to build a soundtrack for your life. It's emotional, right? And I mean, enjoy my clip art. This is when you see I'm not a graphic designer. I have very good ones working with me, but it's not me. So a car is supposed to take you from A to B, but how does it make you feel? Robin, I put a Tesla here for you. I think that you buy a Tesla, maybe not just for the car, but for the feeling. And you buy into the brand of Tesla because maybe it makes you feel like you're doing something good. And maybe even a little bit, you're kind of helping to save the world, right? So we don't really buy skincare, we buy the feeling of being and looking young, right? And we don't buy alarm systems, we buy the feeling of security, maybe even for our furry little loved ones. So today I really want you to walk away from this and think about which feeling are you selling, right? Do you know? Does it feel clear? And otherwise, we will find out today, I think. Content has made a trip, I feel. Instagram, for example, has changed a bit. I think that Insta versus reality is a thing because it got really curated and perfect for a while, right? And today we're leaning more towards something not so perfect. But it's not just Insta versus reality. Right now it's AI versus reality, right? There's so much happening, good and bad. I think there's so much potential to use AI for good content too, but there is also potential to lose ourselves in it and make a lot of bad content, right? You've already seen it, I'm sure. Welcome in, welcome in. So just a thought. I really think that we want authenticity, and we need authenticity more than ever in this world.
Get you some help, Truman. You're not well.
Why do you want to have a baby with me? You can't stand me.
That's not true. Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Did you see The Truman Show? I know it's pretty old, but like that really got me in the heart. And when I went back to it now, it's been a while, I realized like when it came out, it was sensational and weird, but like today, this is our content. Like this happens in the real world all the time. How weird is that and how cool is that? And I'm not sure if it's good or bad. But today, the creators are the new actors, right? It's the creators, the influencers, but also us. We are all creators, we are all ambassadors, and we all have the power to do something good with our content and make it better and make people inspired, right? Max, you're getting more attention. So we went out to eat the other day, Max and I. Actually, this was a while ago, and he just loved the food at this place. I'm so sad this restaurant closed, seriously. Anyway, I tagged him in a picture and I tagged the restaurant, and they reposted the story and said, find someone who looks at you like this guy looks at his food, which I thought was hilarious. Max didn't really think the same. Maybe I should just do talks about Max. You seem to like it. So the other rule is listen. Because if you listen and see what's happening in the world, you can repost stuff that someone else does for you. And that's free content, guys. That's like the best thing we can get, right? Also reactive content. When Brad and Angelina broke up, it was a really long time ago now, but Norwegian was super quick with these ads. Please go to Los Angeles, Brad is single, run. Like seriously guys, run. And this was so funny to me. And there are a lot of examples of really good reactive content. But you know what bad reactive content is? It's old. It's if Norwegian did this now or even a month after, right? And so the only way that you can make really good reactive content is to be super quick. And are you super quick if you have to ask your boss and their boss and their boss and find the mandate to get the budget? No, that stands in our way. So the other thing you need to make really good content, especially reactive, is mandate. And this is one of the biggest problems I see when I work with marketing departments out there, that the people who actually have the feel for content, what's good content and what's good timing for content, don't always get the mandate or the budget to execute things like this. And that's what we need to work to change. So I've worked as a social media manager too, and as a content manager, and all possible roles in the marketing department. I'm sure many of you have too. And this felt like my life a lot. Like all the information that bosses wanted me to put in one social media post and what actually there's place for or what actually would be a good post is such a big difference. I think the worst moment was when my boss, it was probably like 10 years ago, we didn't know as much about social media. She was like, yeah, we made this flyer. Could you take a picture of the flyer and put it on Instagram? I was like, a picture of the, no, I can't do that. It's like, why, right? So there's a lot to do. And I really think that complexity is the enemy of execution. Like complexity of trying to describe what everyone else thinks we should describe is what makes us make bad content, right? And we need to make it really, really simple. And even sometimes we make it too complex, I think, because we know too much about us. We know too much about our product. And sometimes it's hard to be objective. So that's why I think today, if you stay, please make use of each other and do these things together, because it'll help you get new perspectives on what you are selling, thinking, and what is good content. And did this other stranger understand what you're trying to say, right? So this ad came up the other day, and it stuck with me because I just love it. Know this about your logo: nobody cares. So I know this sounds harsh because sometimes we spend so much time on a new graphic profile. And it's not that that's not important. It's really important. But it's not important, in my opinion, to put your logo on every single thing you do, on every single Instagram post. And still, to this day, this is a thing I have to argue about with a lot of my clients. I don't know how you feel. Do you recognize this? I see some nodding. You know, our brand will speak for itself if we make really good content that carries it. And also, humans connect with humans, not logos. And a good example here, it's a pretty old picture, but look at the difference in followers. Tesla has 19 million, and Elon Musk has 130 million, and probably a lot more now. And he's a character, right? So really, we want to follow humans and not brands, which also makes our lives very difficult when we work with content, and we need to work on the company's page, the company's LinkedIn page. And we all know that not as many people follow those or interact with those. We really need to have the people be the bearers of our information. So that is something we really need to work on.
What do you want to do tonight?
Oh, well, maybe we could,
Okay, trying to turn me on by making a mess? Know your audience.
I know I'm talking to a room of marketers, so you know this already, so I'm preaching to the choir, but I still had to put this in because I just love Friends so much. And she's so right? We have to know our audience. And in one of the workshops today, we're also going to talk about how you really, really get to know your audience in a way that I think maybe not many of you have thought of before. I'm guessing, I don't know. We'll see. So I really think we need to stop focusing on creating content with the sole purpose of reaching, as many people as possible, and really focusing on reaching the right people. This is something that we have to change in our mind, because for a very long time, for marketers, the purpose has always been to just reach everyone. But maybe that's not that important anymore. So I really like Instagram. I do a lot of stories, especially when I travel or I work at an event. And I was doing this event one day, planning this big event at Oscarsteatern, and I didn't have time during the day to do all my stories that I wanted to do. I didn't have someone with me who was documenting the thing. I do sometimes, which is fun. So when I was done with the event and I was quite tired and I sat in the couch at the end of the day, I sat and I started like using all the pictures I had and putting up stories. And my boyfriend was like, yeah, should we like rest and eat and do other things? And I was there for an hour doing my stories and I wanted to get them in like a chronological order and all of that. And it felt so good. And then when I put it up, I got this comment like, you're so good at posting stories. I love watching what you post because it always feels like a little story. And I was like, yeah, it's called stories for a reason. Not to be mean, but I feel we forget this sometimes. We post like just loose stuff, which is fine too. But if you really want to engage people, it needs to be you taking them on a story, right? And it's not that hard, but it does take time. And I realized the other day, I was talking to Robin, I was like, I just love behind the scenes content because it is real and it makes me feel like I get to be where this other person is doing this thing. And so I've defined that this behind the scene content is really my love language. And so I will love when you do that too. And so I do a lot of events like this one you're at right now, actually, and a lot of different events. I've always done it. And I've been thinking why I love it so much. And I love events because of the feeling that we create in the room. Like you guys are here, you can kind of feel it in the air. And I love documenting the events because I want others to be able to feel that too. And also, you can make so much good content from an event. It's almost worth doing events just to get good content. Because today, like so many of you are here and so many of you will also make content. But for all this, you need time. So that's one of the rules. You don't just need a mandate and a budget, you need the time, and it takes time. And one of the biggest things we need to teach the rest of the organizations that we work with is usually that it isn't just putting up a little post on social media. It takes time, and it's an art form, really. So I have a friend, Erik Fellman, who's on TikTok, and he's famous for ice bathing and eating ice cream on TikTok. Talking about how I think like you have to have substance in your content and you have to be authentic. Still, he has built a whole channel on ice bathing, right? And it's really funny, and kids stop him, you know, when he's walking around town because he's so famous now, which is ridiculous and really funny. And he's the nicest guy. So, I mean, it is entertaining. Now you look at his channel and he has a lot of followers. And I was talking to him and we were talking, you know, does everything go viral? Or like, is it important? How do you know when to post and all of that? Do you think that this post went viral? Guesses? Yes? So I asked him and he said the first time he posted it, nothing happened. It's like, it just seemed to be a bad time. It didn't get through the algorithm. Something was off. So he took it down again. And about a month later, he put it up again. And then it went viral. So weird. Like, we can't always predict why these things happen. There are a lot of things we can think about, like what time do we post, what, you know, content for our target group and all of that. But also sometimes it's just algorithms. It's just luck and chance, right? And so a lot of my clients come to me and say, we want to go viral, right? Can you do that? And I'm like, no. I mean, you can try, but my point is, it's not always important. It's something we have to challenge because I think every post is not meant to go viral, and that's okay. And we need to take the pressure off our shoulders as content makers that everything does not need to be viral, right? And so I live by this new rule that I'm going to share with you. Say that you post something and you know nothing happened. Let's have a 5-second little funeral for this post, right? So one, this feels bad. Nobody likes my stuff. Shit, what is my boss gonna say? And then like, it probably wasn't that good. Maybe I should take it down. I don't know. And then 5 seconds, and we're like, okay, on to the next. Leave it be. Because the point is, it's the whole bulk of stuff that you create over time that's going to make a difference. It's not one post. Don't get hung up on it and don't put so much pressure on yourself, right? It's fine. Let's have a little funeral and then we move on. So this is my favorite part of this presentation, where we kind of get into the little more nitty-gritty of messages and how we connect with stuff. So if you're in branding, you know, people have always said, we buy from those we like, right? Is it true? I think, yeah, to an extent, we do want to buy more stuff from those we like, right? So it's good to be a little likable. But I also think, in a deeper layer, we buy from those who make us like ourselves better. And I'll explain what I mean. So as human beings, I think fundamentally we care about these three things: who we are, our identity, what we believe in, and what or who we kind of aspire to be. Everyone who sits in here probably has some aspiration, right? And we follow people maybe on Instagram or TikTok or anywhere really, YouTube, who maybe lives the life that we want to live, that we aspire to live, right? And so if you look at Maslow's theory of needs or pyramid of needs, I feel like most of us in this room are lucky enough to live on the higher levels where we can work with self-actualization. And even if we have tough times right now in the world with the economy and maybe really high electricity prices or whatever it is, still, if we reality check ourselves, I mean, most of us have pretty good lives. And so we have the luxury of thinking, who do we want to be? The luxury of working with that. And like me, lucky enough to think, oh, maybe I want to have a company and I start my company. Like, how lucky am I, honestly? So we live in this era of self-actualization, which means that the products we buy and the companies we choose to support should ideally align with that self-image that we want to achieve. And so when we market and we create content, we have to think, what is our target group? What is their self-image that they want to achieve? What do they aspire to do? So an example, say that you want to become a long-distance runner. I do not, because I suck at running. I don't like it, and I'm bad at it. Anyway, I'm also extremely lazy. But say that you want to be a long-distance runner. And there comes a brand along with their content who says, we believe in you. We think you can do it. Actually, we know you can do it. We have the products to help you do it. We encourage others who do this. We feel you, we hear you, we see you. And most of all, we think you should just do it, right? And everyone knows this brand, it's Nike, and it feels evident. But in this case, I would argue that they don't really sell the running shoes. They sell this feeling that you can surpass yourself. And they show a lot of successful athletes, so they sell the feeling of you being successful, and it's a possibility, what you aspire to. They will help you get there. And once you buy into that, then you will not leave that brand, right? But Nike is also known quite lately for some controversial content. I don't know if you've seen this, but let's dive into it.
Several people posting videos burning Nike shoes. Nike.
I would argue that the absolute most important thing that we need when making content that will make an impact is courage. It's courage. And in a corporate world, maybe, it's hard to have courage and stand up for things. It's hard to come with crazy ideas. It's hard for the person who works with the content, and it's actually hard for the manager too, because if a really cool employee comes with a crazy idea, the manager has to think, the budget, what's the board gonna think, and all of those things get in the way of amazing content that we could make. And I know I show a lot of examples from big brands that have money, that have budgets and all of that, but you don't need that to make really good content. You need guts. You need your brain. You need to know your people. And you need to just do that, right? And I know that we can do that, and we can help each other do that. And I want to see more of that content out there. I don't want to be bored looking at, scrolling through LinkedIn and feeling everyone is selling something to me. I want to hear your stories. I want to know about your life, your work, your hopes, your dreams. And I want to know what you aspire to, and I want to follow you on your journey to getting there. I don't just want to know when you got there. I don't want to see everyone who just succeeded, right? I want the story before it. And I hope that you have, the guts to join me in trying to make content like that and trying to influence maybe your employers or whoever it is you need to influence, that it's good to make that type of content. And with Nike, it's an interesting case because they have always invested extremely much in their brand. And brand is story, right? It's having guts to tell stories and put your brand together with other people who have good brands. And in this case, in this movie, they put their brand together with someone who actually had, for a while, a very kind of a low brand because he took a stand and some people were against him. And maybe the stock plummeted a little bit at first, but then you could see the change when they told the story, when they used it for influence, for impact. And they had courage and it went well for them. If you followed Nike lately, a lot more has happened. Even Nike makes mistakes. So recently, their stock has gone down again, and they had a new CEO that they have just fired, or he's had to stop working. I don't actually know the exact arrangement. But I think that his and the board's strategy for a while was to go more for quick fixes, to go more for data, for numbers, really selling. And they lost a little bit of that focus they've always had on building brand. And the most common case for me when I come in and work with companies is that we want to go viral, we want to get something to happen in one post, we want it to happen now, we don't have so much money, but we're just going to make it work. And we're going to work right now, we want it to happen now, we want instant gratification, we don't have time. And so we don't see longer than our feet, and we don't have the guts and the time and the money to think further ahead with our content, with our branding. But I'm here today to tell you we need to do that because you will see it in the numbers, but you need to trust that you will, right? So if you plan on being in business for a while and not just in a low economy, I would say look down the road and not just at your feet and inspire others to do that too, because I promise you, you will see it in the results. So these are the rules, my friends, and I almost held my time, I think. Do not disturb, listen. Create a mandate, get a mandate, ask for a mandate. Create time, ask for time, explain why things take time. Don't think too much about going viral. Think about the bulk of what you do. And for fuck's sake, have some courage, right? You with me on this? Yes. Was this good? You feel this? Good. So we're going to move on to the panel discussion. Thank you so much for listening to me.